everyone, this is Mr. Sujatullah. Welcome to Bharatiya IAS Institute. Today we will be discussing about the third part of economic growth and economic development lecture. So we are doing now lecture 1 part 3. Part 1 is already done, part 2 is already done. You can find these Indian economic videos in a separate playlist on the YouTube channel. There you can access all the videos one by one. Okay, if you are having any kind of purchases related aspects or any kind of mentorship related program or the courses that we have launched, you can just call to the number given at the end of this video, or you can go to the website www.bharatiyaiasinstitute.com where there you can find all the details with regard to courses, so on and so forth. So in this particular lecture, we will be talking about the differences between economic growth and economic development. Already we have learned a lot about economic growth and economic development concept in part 1, and we have done with part 2, definitions also we have done. Now we are in the part 3 of the lecture 1. So after this economic growth and economic development, as I have told you that we will be also talking about budget, we will be talking about public finance management inside it. We will also talk about banking, finance, monetary policy, balance of payment. So prelims and mains coverage of all the topics will be done in this particular YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe, like and share to all of your friends who are who are looking for English medium videos. Okay. As I have told you, what is the meaning of economic growth? Increase in real output. Along with me, you have to write, all of the students, please listen to me very carefully. You have to write along with me. This is a very basic to advanced lecture. That is the reason I don't want to just put up slides and go on speaking like a good orator. I don't want to do that. So that is the reason I am writing, so that you can also learn very steadily and you achieve perfection and accuracy. It is an increase in real output of goods and services. Like GDP, we will talk about GDP here, we will talk about per capita income here. So increase in GDP, increasing national income, increase in per capita income. So basically economic growth is more related to what? Output of goods and services. The more output of goods and services you produce, keeping the inflation constant, okay, not considering the inflation impact on the prices of goods and services, we will just try to understand in this particular way that last year we produced 100 units. This year we produce how many units? Okay, like last year we produced 100 units, 1 unit 1 rupee. 1 unit 1 rupee. So 100 units we have produced last year. So how much is our GDP? 100 rupees. Now this year if we produce 120 units and the same material, same items, whatever we produce in the last year items, the same items we have also produced in this year. But how much it is? 120 units we have produced. So 120 units, 1 unit, 1 rupee. So into 1 rupee. That is nothing but 120 rupees GDP. So last year 100 rupees GDP, this year 120 rupees GDP. Items are same in both the years. That is the reason here not only the value have increased, okay, in the next year, but here along with the value, the items have also increased. The number of items have also increased. This is called as real output. Why we have to look at this way? Okay, what is the meaning of nominal? What is the meaning of real? Okay, what is the impact of inflation in both of these concepts? That we'll be studying in what? National income chapter. But at this point of time, this is enough for your understanding. Okay, so as I've already told in the first lecture, that is part 1, that economic growth is always about output, quantity, numbers, monetary terms, etc. so on and so forth. Economic development is GDP plus all around, as we have already learned in the last class, all around development of economy through institutional and technological changes. Okay, this is called as economic development. Economic development also consider economic growth. You can understand that GDP plus we are writing. So in economic development, GDP should increase. That is a very good point. But along with that, the increase in GDP should be reflected in overall development economy through institutional and technological changes. Institutional changes is nothing but where equitable distribution of income is ensured, where government makes provisions for last mile connectivity, where government makes laws, okay, gender equality, where government make laws in order to ensure, okay, security of basic needs to the poor population. This is called as institutional changes, where government ensures their accountability towards the population, where government ensures a citizen charter. So this is called as a institutional change. Institution means government bodies trying to bring out policies and schemes in such a way that will reduce poverty, that will ensure equal opportunity, that will reduce gender inequalities, that will promote women empowerment. So institutions are nothing but government bodies, okay, trying to bring out schemes and policies in such a way that overall development in our economy and the society should take place. Such kind of changes are called as institutional changes. And technological changes, you know it very well: productivity, optimum utilization of resources, okay, harnessing of new resources, okay, and formalization of economy, mechanization of agriculture, industry. It is called as what? Technological changes. Okay, so I guess this is very clear to you. Okay, fine. So economic growth and economic development, one point you have learned. Let us now go ahead with the second important point here. Economic growth is basically of single dimension. Economic development is basically of multi-dimension, because economic development talks about overall improvement in society, and economy cannot be restricted to one indicator. That's why it is multi-dimensional concept. It is a single dimension because it only concentrates on numbers, okay, values, monetary terms, quantitative terms. So basically it is of more of single dimension, that is of multi-dimension. Economic growth is quantitative in nature. Okay, as we have already learned that it talks about only quantitativeness. Okay, how much quantity, like that. Whereas economic development is qualitative in nature. Very important points could be asked in the examination. We'll do MCQs on this particular chapter when we are done with it. Qualitative in nature, economic development means it talks about quality of life. It talks about standard of living. It talks about increased per capita income. It talks about population pressure less on the resources. It talks about safety. It talks about security. It talks about environmental degradation should reduce. So it is basically more of what? Qualitative in nature. Basically all the basic necessities has to be given to everyone. That's why because it is having more indicators, that's why it becomes qualitative in nature. It is having only one indicator in order to measure it, that's why it becomes more of quantitative in nature. Okay, fourth one. To increase economic growth, government intervention is not required. Okay, government intervention is not required. Means government need not interfere in order to increase economic growth rate, in order to increase GDP. It is a very natural process according to our various books of the economy, textbooks of the economics, and economists have told that whether government do something, whether government don't do something, what happens is every country will go for a increase in GDP over a period of time. Okay, natural growth rate everyone will achieve. Natural means maybe 0.1%, maybe 1%, whatever it is. Every country every year will go for a natural increase in the growth rate. That's why whether the government makes policy in order to boost economy, whether the government does not do anything and just sit idle also, does not matter. Economic growth generally takes place. But to bring economic development, government interventions are must. Government interventions are must. Okay. Like for example, you know that in India, 10% of the population like Allu Arjun, Prabhas, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, political leaders, Adani, Ambani, capitalists, 10% of the population is owning 50% of India's income and wealth, whereas 90% of the population is owning 50%. You see that this much of inequalities are there. Means they are having lot of money with them, and this 90% of the population is sharing very less amount of income and wealth. Okay, one point I will tell you which is interrelated to our models of economy. If everyone, you, me, Adani, Ambani, etc., all of us shares equal amount of income and wealth, then we generally are following socialistic pattern of society. We generally follow what? Socialistic pattern of society. This is a model, socialistic model we say, where the resources are distributed among the population equally. Little bit difference will be there. Adani because of more talent, or Ambani because of more talent, or because of you are having more talent, you may be having more money with you. I may be having less, but my money and your money difference should not be too far like this. It is very near. You are earning 100, I will earn around 75 to 80. Like that. So that is called a socialistic pattern of society. So I told you what it is. So our topic is here, government intervention are must in order to bring in what? Economic development. So now this is an inequality situation is there in our country. 10% population holding 50% of India's wealth and income. 90% of them are sharing only 50. So what is the government intervention? How government has interfered to reduce this inequality? Through taxation policy. Here what government has done? Government, the one who is earning more, about 10 lakhs, has been taxed 30%. The one who is earning less than 10 lakhs has been taxed around 20%. The one who is earning very less, like 3 lakhs rupees, has been not taxed. So the government has made one intervention or not? Yes, to reduce the inequalities. One more example I tell you. Government offers what? Mudra schemes. Okay, very less interest rate government will take. Okay, on the loans given by the government. Whereas for a normal private person, it will be higher. If I go and take a loan from the bank, it will be around 14 or 18%. But if I take from Mudra, it will be around 8 or 9%. Right or wrong? Housing also, you see, in housing also, the government only for the eligible beneficiaries only, government will give housing loans. Okay, housing loans are 6 and 7%. But the rich and big shots like Shah Rukh Khan, Prabhas, Allu Arjun, Adani, Ambani, political leaders, for them, these kind of loans are not available. Remember this point, because they are having so much money, they can easily buy a home. So government interventions are there or not? Yes. In order to reduce child marriages, government brought a law or not? Yes. Okay, when government brings a law where the child marriages has been prohibited less than 18 years, you can understand that why it is important. For a boy, it is already fixed for 21 years. For a girl, 18 years. If child marriages happen below 18 years, now you just understand a point here. A girl who is in the age of 14, 15, 16 years, she does not even know. She is just coming out of puberty. She understood what is the meaning of reproductive system, etc. after 14 years of age. And she don't even know what is the meaning of intercourse. She don't even know what is the meaning of family. She don't even know what is the meaning of having a baby. She don't even know what is the meaning of getting pregnant. When she is unaware of all these things, okay, how she can exercise the independency with regard to her body. There is no decision making with regard to her body, what she want to pursue, how she wants to be in the future. That kind of development will not happen in a girl if we get married to her below 18 years, because the maturity levels are very, very less at that time. Okay, government brought an act that has imparted mental well-being to the girl child or not? Yes. When she will not get married at 18 years. Okay, 18 years she completes her intermediate, something like that. Now she will say, no, I don't want to marry, because she is now aware of things. She gets little bit of maturity. Now 18 years she will say that I want to study, and no parents will say not to study, obviously. So government interventions are must in order to bring economic development. It cannot be done just like that. It cannot happen with the natural process, but economic growth can happen with the natural process. Okay, 4 points we have learned. Now let us go towards 5th point. Okay, faster economic growth you want, you have to increase technological, or faster economic growth happens when economy transforms technologically more. Means more technology you bring in the economy, the more faster will be the economic growth rate. Now just imagine a point here. Okay. Now, once upon a time we used to make orange juice. Okay, let us suppose in India we are all making orange juice only. I am not a fan of orange juice, but that is how the example I have just got it. Okay, once upon a time the orange juice was made like that. Like this or not? You and me, every Indian is making orange juice at that time. Okay. Now just imagine a point here that we make in a year, 1 year we make 1 crore orange juice glasses. Every juice glass is what? 1 rupee. So what is our GDP? 1 crore. 1 year we make 1 crore orange juice. All of us make 1 crore orange juice, and every one juice will be 1 rupee. That's why 1 crore is our GDP. Now all of us, this is what we are doing manually. Now we got a juicer. Now all of us got a juicer. Now just imagine a point here. Okay, just imagine a point here. Just taking example of a day, per day. If I am given some like oranges to extract juice from the orange, so I will be doing like this continuously. So I may do how many per day? 1,000. But you are giving a juicer or a grinder to make the orange juice. How many you will do? In 2 hours only you will make 500 or 1,000 juices. Right or wrong? Yes. Means in less time you are producing more or not. When you are producing more, automatically what will happen? The quantity is increased. When quantity increase, obviously the value of the quantity will increase or not? Yes. So if we get into technology, if we transform our economy into technologically advanced or technological transformation, if we go, automatically GDP will increase. Okay, I guess this is very clear to you. Okay, more faster you want economic growth rate, more machines you bring in, more technology you bring in, that's enough. Okay. It depends upon quality of life. So economic development to increase, it all because what? The quality of life around us should increase. Means you understand that again water supply, drainage system should be good, last mile connectivity. So basically economic development to increase, it is basically dependent upon what kind of quality of life is given to you. Okay. Sixth one. Economic growth follows trickle down approach of model of development. Model of development. Whereas economic development talks about bottom up approach. Bottom up approach, model of development. Bottom up approach, model of development. Now this is a very good important aspect. As we have already discussed in our last class that economic growth and economic development both are synonymous to each other in 1960s. Later on many of the economists have told that no, economic growth is different, economic development is different. That is all happened or not? Yes. So our country also after 1947 when we got independence, India followed just like other countries, we followed same trickle down approach we followed. Trickle down approach we followed. Okay. This one. What is the meaning of trickle down approach? You should know it very, very properly. Okay. All these concepts are very important for everyone who is watching, and please do refer to your friends. They will also take the advantage of the lectures. Trickle down approach. Meaning of trickle down approach, and what is the meaning of bottom up approach? Right. Now, at the time of independence, India was following this approach. Later on in 11th and 12th 5-year plan, 1990s, or you can say the 2000s onwards. 2000s onwards, we followed what? Bottom up approach. 1980s also some instances are there which we will study in economic planning of India, but outrightly, if we are able to understand prominently, 2000 onwards, we follow bottom up approach. Okay. Now, every country, just like all other countries, India followed trickle down approach for development. Development means what? As we have already learned, development means increasing the standard of living, giving more facilities to the people, more and fulfilling their more basic needs and wants of the people. It's called as what? Development. Means quality, means multi-dimension. All should be given to the citizens or not? Yes. Okay. Now, imagine a point here. father. Father salary is 10,000 rupees. Let us have, for our clear understanding, let us not write 10,000 because it will come in decimals. Okay, 9,000 rupees father salary is there. And 3 children, C1, C2, C3. 3 children are there. Clear? 3 children are there. Now, father gave 3,000 to all the children, distributed equally. So, complete equality father is following. Okay, fine. Now, in this, because they are all living in India, they are all living in the same place. So, their cost and prices of the goods and services will be anyhow same. Because you live in Delhi, you live in Mumbai, wherever you are living, the cost of the rent, the goods, vegetable price, the fruit price, the transportation price will be same or not? Yes, all of these are also living in the same place just like in Hyderabad. 3,000 rupees he is able to pay rent, let us suppose. Able to pay what? Rent in 3,000 rupees. Then another 3,000, within that 3,000 he is able to fulfill ration. Okay, and he is able to fulfill electricity. Okay, this is what as imagine. Okay, don't say sir 3,000 में क्या ही आएगा, नहीं, बस समझने के लिए. Right, father salary is 10,000, 9,000. Everyone is getting what 3,000, and children 1 and 2 and 3, all of them are able to fulfill the basic necessities of rent, ration, electricity. Because the prices are same, no need to worry. Rent, ration and electricity. Fine. Means now father salary has trickled down to these 3 children. Now father salary increased to 18,000. Very, very important. Father salary doubled. Father salary what? Doubled. Remember this point. Then every children will get how much? C1, C2, C3. They'll get how much? 6K, 6K, 6K. Already in 3K, they are able to fulfill 3 basic necessities. Again 3K is left with all of them. They are able to fulfill their educational requirements. They are able to pay for the transportation charges. They are able to do the recharge, nothing but they are able to pay for the communication also. Means what have you seen here? If the father's salary increases, automatically the standards of living, because they are at the time they are having nothing. Father got 9,000, they got minimum. Out of 10 basic necessities, they got 3. Then again father salary increased, 18,000 became 6,000. They are able to purchase more basic necessities, so their standard of living increased. Means if the father's salary is increasing, standard of living of the children are increasing or not? Yes. Obviously, if your father is earning 50,000, next month he is earning 1 lakh rupees, you will go from, what I say is that instead of you will taking performance active wear t-shirt, you will go for Puma or not? Yes, very common thing. Fine. Instead of Sparks, you will take Skechers or not? Yes, very common thing. Now, this is called as trickle down theory, worked very well with regard to the developed countries. It happened there. But in India, it did not happen like this. In India, what happened? Though our national income increased, GDP increased from 1947 to till today. 1947 to till today, our GDP has increased a lot. Right or wrong? 3.1 trillion we became. But still, what happened? Poverty is there, unemployment is there, technological advancement is not there in the economy, last mile connectivity is not there, electricity is still not given to all of us, water supply is not given to all of us, transportation is again having a problem, communication for the 4G, 5G will not work outskirts. Means what? All the basic necessities everyone did not. Means the core issues whatever we had at the time of the independence, today also we are having the same core issues. Why this happened? Means just like father has distributed the money equally, among 3 children, so 3 children developed equally or not? Yes. But what happened when the national income grew, like 18,000, only one child has got around 15,000, these 2 children have got only 2,000 like that, 2.5. Means inequitable distribution of income happened. Equally income has not been distributed. Inequitable distribution happened. That is seen in our country. That is the fact according to the Oxfam report of inequality. Getting my point? So our national income grew. But when national income grew, automatically everyone per capita income should grow. Because national income will be distributed just like trickle down. From the trickle down theory, we can understand that father increase money distributed among the population or not. In the same way, if the national income increase, per capita income of every one of us should increase. When our per capita income, money in hand increases, what will happen? We will purchase more goods and services, but we are not able to do from the time of independence till today, right? What is the question? The question is very simple. Some people are having more, some people are taking more wealth, lot of people are not able to get the wealth from the increase in national income. This is the core problem of our country. Okay, so trickle down theory failed in our country. This, if the national income grows, it goes to the population and population will increase the standard of living, did not work out very well with regard to our country. That's why we have shifted, from 2000 we have shifted to bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach is nothing but when national income increases. Okay, when national income increases, government said that no. Now we will only distribute. We will give mudra from down. We will give startup India down. We will give Atal Tinkering Lab. We will only promote innovation ecosystem in our country. We will only put cess zones. We will only do NIM zone. We will only start Pradhan Mantri Samman Nidhi Yojana. We will only give Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Like that, from government is promoting from the bottom. Now, whatever the increase in national income from the budget, the money will go to the budget. From budget, the BPL population is lifted. Okay, BPL population is lifted. So more concentration towards the infrastructure development because poor people will use. More concentration to what? Buses, transportation, railway tracks because people will develop. More concentration on what? Giving lot of loans because people should also become what? From the downside also people should become entrepreneurs. Getting my point here? Yes. This is called as trickle down and bottom up approach. That's why in trickle down approach, economic growth follows trickle down approach, whereas economic development generally follows bottom up approach. This much big concepts are there. If you don't know all of this, what you will do in the examination? Again, another year you will prepare for UPSC. After 2, 3, 4 attempts of the UPSC, then you understand that okay, this is a concept. That is why learning one time, but learning perfectly is more important. That is where the coaching quality matters. That's why we say quality of coaching is important. Why? Because if you don't have the educators who can teach you in the direction of what the UPSC is expecting, teach you in the direction of that extensive elaborate understanding, then it becomes very difficult for a person to crack. Okay. Economic growth is a narrow concept. Means obviously talk about only goods, services, increase or not, that's all. Whereas economic development is a broader concept. Means talks about poverty, talks about unemployment, talks about increasing per capita income, talks about electricity, security, talks about water security, etc. so and so forth. That's why it's a very broad concept. Economic growth is a short-term concept. Obviously, within 1 year, we will measure it and it is done. GDP is measured within 1 year, done. Whereas economic development is a long-term concept. If you want to know that poverty decrease, if you want to know that women empowerment happen, if you want to know that quality of education increase, it cannot be measured in one year. Because this year you will start a scheme of developing school infrastructure. This year you start a scheme for the enrollment of the children. This year you start a scheme for training of the teachers. And 2-3 years after it will work. Okay, it cannot be done within 1 year. That is the reason it's a long-term concept. Okay, that's why it is easy to realize. Means within 1 year you can easily understand. 1 year done, you can easily understand what happened, what is the increase in GDP growth rate, what is the deviation in agriculture sector, what happened to the agriculture sector, what happened to the service sector, etc. You can easily understand, easy to realize. Okay. Long time to realize, same, it is a long time concept, long time to realize, not easy to realize. It is more related to developed nations like UK, USA. They are more interested in economic growth, increase or not, they are always in that particular situation only. Related to developed nation, but this is very, very important to developing nations. Countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Brazil, Argentina, all of them are what developing nations. For them, economic development is important. They have to concentrate on this one, whereas developed nations will concentrate on economic growth. It is measured comparing national income of different countries, and which is done by IMF will do that. India is the 6th largest economy, or India is the 5th largest economy, US is the 1st largest economy. So basically it is measured in terms of what? National income by IMF. Whereas economic development is measured in terms of what? Indexes. Like we are having human development index is there, environmental performance index is there, corruption perception index is there, social progress index is there, gender inequality index is there, gender development index is there, so on and so forth. So on and so forth. You can pause and write. Okay. Economic growth rate may or may not bring social change, must bring social change. Means economic growth may or may not bring, means we have already learned from the time of independence till today, from the time of 1947 to till today, did society change with the increase in national income? Did we reduce poverty? Did we increase employment? Did we develop sufficient infrastructure? No, right? Lot of basic necessities are still not given. Means society will change or not change. Okay, economic growth is not concerned. But when you talk about economic development, social change is must. Society should develop. Okay, literacy rates should develop. IMR should decrease, MMR should decrease, quality of education should increase, skilled population should be more, women participation in the labor force will be more, women empowerment should be there, financial assistance to the poor should be there. Okay, that's why in economic development, if there is no social change, we will not talk about it. Social change is must. Okay, to increase economic growth rate, you just have to do only one thing: mobilize the resources. Mobilization of resources. Okay, means government is having the budget. In the budget, if government does not give to social services like education, health, if the government does not give to these sectors, if government give only to the economy, obviously economy will increase. Right or wrong? So if you just mobilize money towards economy, water towards economy, electricity towards economy, automatically economic growth will happen. It's a very easy. Mobilize the resources, economic growth will happen. Economic development. For economic development, social justice is must. Okay. Economic growth is generally considered as physical growth of a person. Means just like an example, illustration, like I am growing 5 feet 10 inch. Okay, physical growth of a person, just like economic growth means physically these many goods and services we have produced, so this is our national income, this is our GDP. So economic growth to happen is a physical growth, whereas economic development is both physical and mental well-being of a person. Okay, means in size I am increasing, but if I don't have quality, if I don't have a quality of education, I will be not happy, mentally. If I don't have money to buy medicines, I will be not happy mentally, right? Even though 5.10 inch I am, what is the use of that? If I am not skilled, what is the use of that? If I don't know how to interact with the people, what is the use of that? If I don't able to speak, languages, that is important for the recruitment purposes, right or wrong? So if I know all of that, mentally I will be happy or not? Yes. So that's why economic development is both physical and mental well-being of a person. Okay. Economic growth is a recent phenomenon in human history. In human history, once upon a time, we only talk about development. Later on, we shifted to what? Growth. Okay. But economic growth, it is said that economic growth without economic development is meaningless. If any country is growing economically but is not able to bring economic development in the country, that growth is called as what? Meaningless growth. We also have meaningless growth, we also have voiceless growth, we also have jobless growth, we also have another growth is also there that I will tell anyhow. Okay, voiceless growth is there, jobless growth is there, meaningless growth is there. One more is also there. We'll discuss in economic national income chapter. Okay, right. These are the important distinguishing feature between economic growth and economic development. In the next class, we will be talking about lecture 1, part 4. We will complete our economic growth and economic development. Complete chapter will be over. Then we'll go ahead with the very famous public finance management, because budget may come in February. You should know the concept beforehand only. That is the reason I'm starting about public finance management. In that we'll study about budget and all the taxation policy, fiscal policy objectives, so and so forth. I'll give the flowchart of that particular chapter for sure. Thank you. Do share, subscribe and like.